something, you find people wailing and screaming and crying out loud. Now obviously if it's beyond your control, sometimes it happens, of course it's forgiven. But to make it a habit or a custom to cry in public, it goes against the humility and the private aspect of dua. Dua should be personal, private between you and Allah. Don't make it public crying and wailing. No. Unless of course sometimes your emotions come better of you and it is beyond your control. But it was not the habit of the Sahaba to openly cry out loud. Everybody can see them. They would try to cry in public. They would try to control their crying. Sometimes Abu Bakr and Umar would cry during the salah, but they would try to control it. Be men, not show others that they are crying in public. You cry in front of Allah, you don't cry in front of other people. Okay? And finally, one last thing is, another common mistake is to make long du'as in public when you're the imam. And this is a mistake. When you're alone, make long du'as. But when you're the imam, realize that there are people behind you that are weak, that are old, elderly. There might be some children or women, they cannot stand for long du'as. And this, once again, in Taraweeh we find sometimes du'as go for 40, 50 minutes. And this goes against the whole purpose of the du'a. Du'a should be concise, to the point, bring khushu'. Who amongst us, especially 1,000 people in congregation, do you expect them to have khushu' for 50 minutes of du'a? No. Make short du'as, concise du'as. Du'as that bring about the khushu' and the humility, and then that's it, move on. It is a mistake to make these long du'as that have become our culture and custom, 30, 40, 50 minutes. The du'a becomes longer than the salah itself. And this is a big mistake. It goes against the adab of the du'a, because like we said, a person cannot concentrate for that long if he is in congregation. Once you're alone, no problem. As long as you can concentrate, hours and hours. But if you're the imam, or if you have control over the masjid, then give short du'as. Du'as that are concise, to the point, and make sure that the khushu' lasts, and then move on. After that, they can make du'a as much as they want. It is a mistake to believe that you can only make du'a during the congregation. SubhanAllah, after the congregation finishes, go home and make du'a. What is there that is preventing you? But it is our culture and custom. We think that we have to make the du'a in the prayer. After the Khatm Quran, that night will be a 1 hour long du'a. This goes against the whole spirit of Islam. Do the Khatm Quran at home. You yourself should have recited the Quran in the first place. And then after it finishes, make your du'a to Allah. In fact, most of the Sahaba would not even like to pray Taraweeh in the masjid, by the way. Yes, some of them would, but most of them would pray at home. Because this is more private. The fard you pray in the masjid, and the sunnah and nafil you pray at home, away from the people. And you make your du'as privately. This is the spirit of Islam. This is yet another problem that occurs. And again, so much culture and so much institutions have happened. And in my opinion, clearly, the acts that occur, especially on the quote-unquote Khatmi Quran night of Ramadan, many of them are innovations, and almost all of them go against the spirit of dua, the spirit of Ramadan. You have made it a public thing, whereas it should be a private thing. Your relationship to Allah, your calling out to Allah, your dua to Allah. No problem, have a dua, yes, but have it short, concise, to the point, and if someone wishes to make dua, he has the rest of the night to do so, privately at home. So this is a mistake that goes against the etiquettes of dua. With this we'll open the floor for question and answers for around 15 minutes, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll pray for Asr, and then come back for the remaining lectures inshaAllah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. طيب, there's so many questions. We'll try to answer all of them. If not now, then after the Maghrib prayer, we'll have an extended question and answer session, inshallah. The first question is, Allah answers the non-Muslims' dua, and they eat pork and haram and drink haram, yet Allah did not answer the dua of the traveler who was in the desert and ate and drank and cooked in haram. Why is that? Once again, remember, all of these etiquettes, all of these issues, they only increase the probability. They do not guarantee a response. Allah can respond to anybody whom He wishes. Therefore the kafir, even though his food and drink might be impure, when he shows ikhlas and sincerity, it is possible Allah will respond to him. In fact, it is strongly possible because of that ikhlas. But the Muslim who knows what is haram to do, if he engages in the haram knowing it is haram, then his chances might be even less than the kafir. Because the kafir doesn't know pork is haram. He doesn't know riba is haram. Therefore he's doing something that is haram, but he doesn't know it's haram. But when he shows his ikhlas, Allah might respond to that. Once again, though, all of these only increase the probability. They do not guarantee. It is possible somebody who meets none of these etiquettes, still Allah might respond to his dua. And it is possible someone who meets all of them, Allah will not respond to his dua. All of this goes back to Allah's will. No one can decree for Allah. No one can decide for Allah. Allah decides and no one can change His decision. Allah does what He wants and no one has the right to repeal that. All this does is increases the chances of the dua being accepted. Can we do wasila in our dua for fast acceptance? We're going to talk about the concept of tawassul inshallah later on. But yes, you should do tawassul, and you can pray that that your dua is responded to quickly. Remember we said that, if the brothers and sisters could lower down. Those that want to talk, they can go outside because I can't raise my voice 4 hours in a row continuously. We said that it is allowed to pray for a fast response to the dua. But if that fast response does not come, don't give up dua. This is what we said. Pray, oh Allah, grant me a job and give me it now. Grant me a child and give it to me now. No problem. But when that child doesn't come, don't give up dua. Because if you do, then you're going against the etiquette of dua. We're going to try to ask the questions that are more relevant, inshallah, to the topic. Questions of Salat al-Istikhara, very good. Salat al-Istikhara, the dua of Istikhara. The dua of Istikhara is the dua that should be done when there is a matter related to this world only. When it's related to the akhirah, you don't do Istikhara. Related to this world, and you do not know if that matter is good for you or not. Okay? For example, a marriage proposal. You do not know if it's good for you or not. A job proposal. Anything important. Anything important of this world, when you are faced with a decision you have to make, then the Prophet ﷺ told you how to, or what to do. You should pray Istikhara. The dua is found in all the books of dua. You can look it up. When should it be done? The brother asks, should it be done before the taslim or after? Either one is allowed. Some ulama say before the taslim or after. Should the hands be raised? If you do it before the taslim, do not raise your hands. If you do it after the taslim, you can raise your hands. Should we do Istikhara for something we have no control of, like something we wish for? No. Istikhara should be done when there is a decision you need to make. A decision you need to make. When it is beyond your control and you have no say in the matter, then there is no Istikhara. The whole point of Istikhara, the meaning of Istikhara is guide me to the right choice. Guide me to the better of the two or the more choices. So, the common thing that most people know Istikhara for is marriage. Even though there's anything but marriage, for example. Should I propose to the sister or not? Then the sister, should I accept the proposal or not? The parent, should I accept this proposal or not? This is what Istikhara is used for. Is that when you have a decision in your hands, you can do it. Then you pray for Istikhara, and you're allowed to raise your hands, like we said, if it's after the taslim. The brother asked, can you please repeat your position of the hands during dua? Or maybe it's the sisters. I don't know if it's the sisters, how can they see it? But I guess if they want to open the door, I don't know how. Anyway, this is how you do it. You put the hands together like this. Okay? You have the palms of the hands facing up. This is the proper etiquette of dua. And I said if you raise it a little bit, no problem. But if you raise it too much, then the backs of your hands will be facing Allah, and this is what the Prophet ﷺ forbade. Basically, if you look at the book, yes, showing the book there. There you go, like this. If you look at the book, the hands should be facing upwards. And if you make the hands flat even, no problem. The palms should be facing upwards. And if there's a slight distance as well, no problem. Why, when people say la'natullah, is that discouraged? Yes, it is discouraged to say la'natullah.